Who doesn't get nervous for an interview? I know I do. Even if I'm interviewing people, I still get nervous. This introduction to my short course will just give you a brief outline as to what the course is going to cover, how we're going to run through things, and some of the key elements in there that you're going to need to know as you're going on, ready for your process. I cannot guarantee you that you will get the gig every time. Nobody can do that. There's way too much in terms of what is in control of the interviewing panel, the interviewing company, that you really, really have to just let go of. And with that in mind, I'm going to just suggest that you remember that this is key. You've got to control the one thing that you can, and that's the person that's staring back at you from the mirror every morning. You can only control how you prepare, what your mindset is, and how you show up on the day. That's it. You can't control who else is going to be interviewed. You can't control what their experience is and their personalities are like. You can control you. I do have some stories of people who've gone for interviews just as almost a filler, so that when the person internally who gets the job that they were always going to get is looked at, it looks as if there was a fair process followed. Again, you can't control that. It's not nice. It's not something that I would like to think happens too often. It does happen. So what I would say is, if you can control what's going on with you, then hopefully you're not going to get too down on yourself in the event that you don't get the gig. Anyway, here's what we're going to go through in terms of the course itself. We're going to be looking at the research and preparation. We'll look at the company, we'll look at the job description, and we'll look at how you can prepare for the types of questions that you're likely going to get asked based on the job description. We'll look about how you can think on your feet around the different types of question you might get. And if you do get something that comes up out of left field, you'll have a response for it. The second element before your interview, this is directly before I'm talking about. So almost from when you get up in the morning to leaving for your interview, to get into the interview set, to actually literally just before you're walking through the door. We'll talk about some of your body language. We'll talk about some handshake techniques that you might not recognize before or you've not heard before. And we'll look about how you can make sure that you're in the best place possible. Personally, I've got a great playlist that I use as I'm on the way, just to get my positivity going, get my mindset up in that positive place. Then we'll look at the interview. The kind of questions you might be asked, whether they're experience-based, strengths-based, or whatever. And we'll look at the difficult questions that you might get asked. Why have you had a career gap? What is your biggest weakness? And how you can turn those around into opportunities, into more strengths. Yes, everybody's got weaknesses. It's just how you convey them that's going to be important. And then finally, I'm going to talk about the one question that you should always ask at the end of a particular interview phase. This is going to be the one that when you leave is going to have the interviewer or the interview panel thinking positively of you once you leave. Finally, we're going to look at the post-interview phase. You're going to follow up, the kind of things you want to say when you follow up, who to say them to, and when. And then we're going to get you to reflect on your experience. Whether you get the gig or not, that is unimportant. If you have controlled the one thing that you can, that I mentioned earlier on, that's all you can control. So you're going to look back, you're going to say, did I do the best that I can, or can I improve? If the answer is yes, I can improve, and you didn't get the gig, make sure you improve for next time. If the answer is, you know what, I prepared absolutely top notch, I was absolutely brilliant in that interview, I just didn't get it, pat yourself on the back, move on to the next one. We'll go through some of these in the course itself. So for now, let's get going and let's get you moving. There is obviously the workbook and the Excel spreadsheet that's got all the information that you'll need, that is just a guide and it helps you move through this and helps you write some of the stuff down that you're going to need. Okay, let's get going.